Good afternoon. My name is Scarlett, the Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to today's recap and look ahead. So, markets started actually a little on the softer side. Didn't feel like it because a lot of the high beta tech names that we were watching were kind of, gapping up, whether it was Amazon or Netflix, which were the strongest on Friday, so they give you some good follow through. I know I was keying a little bit on Facebook and Twitter as well. And then you had the spiders, where we can get a little bit of upside follow through, as far as from Friday, which we felt like we would, and same with the small caps, and then you had a lot of other things. You guys got to really read my note. In my note, I go over 25 names. I'm not in the majority of them, but it doesn't mean that you can't be. I've been talking more about, like I think last week, Twilio and TTD, and some names that were good winners that are just just not on my radar as much. But I put some chart work in, so this way, if you like it, maybe you want to go with it. So anyway, let's go right to the charts here. Here's the S&P. At this point, really, I guess, really nice move from, your little red dog reversal low. I know this day was hard. This is when Apple pre-announced and kind of got everyone out. So you had to really think fast to get back involved on Friday. And if you did, there was a nice move. I did sell my spiders today. I actually flipped. I put a little spider short on because I do have a few longs just in case. Anyway, at this point we're, we could kind of draw a line like this, and maybe we hang here for a little bit. If we happen to get a big gap up because of China trade being more positive or whatever, or Washington, this has been the that's the big area that we were talking about. Actually, we can even do this. Like there are 3 lines here, so you don't want to be, I don't think, too net short. Some guys are trying to be net short way too early and are still caught from here because you still have some decent room here. I know we're overbought. And you can't be like balls, cajones to the wall long, but you could see this spot. So if you're, all in short tonight, okay, it's your prerogative. But I would say, maybe be 20% net short because there is some room. And at least if you open down, and that's your trade, you're in some. If you still like some names, I would think at this point you got to be a little hedged just in case. So if you open up, maybe you add a little bit to your hedge, you sell some of your longs, comes in, you cover, and you trade around it into this spot. And then we get the right short setup, maybe that's when you really kill it. And the Qs look very similar, pretty strong today, even with Apple being a laggard. Apple came up at the end of the day. This did not make a new low. That's why it helped lead a little bit to the upside. This is already back pretty much at the bottom end of this range. So if this is leading, maybe the SPYs will get there too. Okay, the IWM, we talked about how the leadership from last week could be something to go with. I bought it this morning down. I think it was down like 40 cents, and it turned into a decent trade. I didn't stay with it all day, but at least it was something to do. This still has some room more towards this area, so we'll see what happens here. What else? What else? Some of the energy, stocks are still coming back up. In my note, I talked about how this group could be a good January effect, considering how it got thrown out. And look at this nice red dog reversal here for some of you. And then it actually made a higher low into this spot with, actually even another little red dog reversal if you trade energy. What does that mean? So this was your, your crazy overthrow move for a counter trend engulfing trade. And then this is your inside range where it goes below 2 pivots and gets it back. That's 2 different types of red dog reversal. One for an oversold crazy bounce, another little bit of a washout, recapture. And now here we are coming into a bigger area that you probably want to sell, not buy. The banks, not so great, but coming into some bigger resistance where I would definitely not be looking to get very long here. If you haven't been long, but if you're again very, very short, just know that these things could push a little further than you think. That's what the pendulum does with these computers. As far as high beta tech, kind of going down the order, first in FANG, Amazon's been best in breed and gave you another big day up. If you bought it, there are a few different setups. This was your setup really on Friday as it cleared this pivot. And now it does, I guess, seem like, close strong where, you could see this spot. I thought maybe this would, this would reject price, but it reclaimed it. And so but I didn't short it just because, again, I'm not looking to trade these loose wide names as much. But I would not, even though it has some more room to upside, just be careful buying it. Same way, be careful shorting it because there is some room to bigger resistance. Netflix is the second, in command here. The two of them were the strongest ones. this broke this descending channel here on the day before the market. If you remember, it was up on that Thursday when everything was getting hit on Apple, and then Goldman upgraded it, and I guess there is some room here too, you know, towards this moving average coming up. Took back, you know, I need to get my e-signal guy in here, because, you know, I thought this was the 200-day. People are now saying this is the 200-day, and if I go over here, it's not showing me. So I got to bring in, you know, we had a whole new computer vamp, and it's just not showing me the exact precise stuff here. So I'll have to look into that. But anyway, just looking at price points, this would be your next spot, and I would be very careful along it. If anything, maybe look to see if, you know, might be a fade into that if we get a gap up on some kind of China, you know, or Washington stuff. I personally think the best setup for a short would be like, you know, we closed decent today, all of a sudden news that, oh, we're going to moving forward, progression great, China's coming back to negotiate with us in a few months, and we gap up into resistance and you could sell it. If we open down tomorrow and you were waiting for that gap up, then you had to be short a little bit. You know, but then again, there's some names you want to be long. I don't know if we're going to just fail here and go back and retest the lows or not. There seems to have been some decent broad-based action, you know, with the Fed with its little put, you know, in the market now again, as Powell was flexible on Friday, and you know, we haven't seen any more pre-announcements yet. We'll see. But all in all, you know, Apple's nowhere, except for if you're not caught in it, which we haven't been caught in it. It's very, you know, it wasn't an easy trade today. Today it was like when it looked the worst, you had to buy it. When it looked the best, you had to sell it. But I guess we'll see tomorrow how it deals with today's high to see if it wants to fill any more of this gap. I know Facebook, I lost a lot of money early on. I was too, I don't know, what's the word? I guess I had FOMO of missing out. You know what? I wasn't long Amazon, and I wasn't long, what's it called? Facebook. Not Facebook, I'm sorry, Netflix. So I was like, oh, we're going to break above this 138. I could buy as much as I want, and then I'll be buying again at 140 for it to break this, because, you know, the other names are coming up to here. You know, like you see, Netflix is already at this moving average and through it, and so is Amazon. Doesn't mean Facebook will get there, but I thought perhaps, you know, it had a good chance of it. And it still does. That's why I'm staying with some, and I'm trying not to remember what happened this morning. If, you know, in the morning, if you look what happened while everything went, you know, it was very tricky. It wasn't, if you know, you look back, it wasn't that the really big deal. Actually, where was it? I guess it really wasn't that. Actually, where was today? So here was 138. So basically, you know, it came up. I started buying a lot of it, and then it went from 138, I guess it was too much for me, down to 136. So $2 off the highs, and it was the weakest one out of all of them. Just thinking if we pulled in, it could get a lot worse. So anyway, you know, I got stopped out of most here, and then I stayed with some, and then on this igniting candle, I said, okay, let me see what it leads to. And then this time, I did buy again through, you know, 138, made a scalp, made a little bit of the money back, and I'm in some. I have a lot less, and we'll see what happens here. But this was me, and that wasn't fun. If it was you too, I apologize. You know, it is what it is. You know, Twitter had a decent day. You know, this is nice and tight. You know, if you look at something like Netflix, when it broke above its little descending channel, it was a little different. Obviously, better earnings, but we'll see. We'll see. Twitter, I'm like talking to myself. You know, it's already back up at it's, you know, this moving average, whatever it is. I thought it was the 200-day. Like Netflix is there already. You know, above it. Amazon through it. So, you know, not saying they're all created equal, because they're not. Facebook, I just figure, if, you know, maybe you can get to here, and that would be a good trade. You know, I'm not in Google, but Google also. You know, I would have thought it would have been acting better, it was upgraded, and I guess it was in the algo with Facebook that they wanted to sell the privacy stocks or whatever. But I still think this is kind of in the game to get to here if you're trading Google. It's just, you know, the algos aren't buying it right now. Maybe you need some news. Roku, what a monster today. Geez, look at that. You know, big gap and go on news. And, you know, I guess if you saw this engulfing bar, this is why we like day ones, you know, you might even been long for that. You know, if you were saying, I'm a Roku fan, and look at this January effect type play, and came, you know, gave you a nice day on Friday, and you took it home, you got paid. Now I guess the next spot it could perhaps get to would be, you know, right around here. Good job. On the other side of the coin, you know, you have this Twilio that's right back to highs. I guess at some point, you know, for those of you who trade it, it's going to get through here. either you're long some and you wait, it's going to have to adjust a little bit and then add for a move through there. Wasn't able to do it in all of November and December, but this is a new market with new funds. And now you have a bit of a gap here, which shows pro money stepping in, you know, or at least a lot of excitement from whoever it is. Maybe even shorts just covering, but this is a really good chart. You know, so a little digestion in here, and maybe there's a nice meaty day trade through that price. We haven't had meaty day trades in a while. Forgot what they look like. TTD, you know, kind of perking up a little bit still. You know, some guys got long on Friday, we're like on here, and now you reclaim some moving averages, so we'll see what happens there. We can come back towards bigger areas, which would be kind of into here. Exis. Some guys were pointing it out to me, saying, red dog, you got to get this on the list. And I can see why. You know, it's hanging in there. Could work its way back towards highs. It's already a big move off these red dog reversal low here, so it's hard to chase now, but doesn't mean it's an easy short either. Then you have the bios have been, you know, the place to be to start the, you know, what's it called, the year. I remember when guys were trying to get me to buy it and I did not, when this cleared this little doji spot. Then you saw some, you know, some commitment here, and it actually penetrated. This is what I wanted you to think about. Look how the IBBs penetrated this spot. A lot of guys are saying, I am short, support will turn into resistance, and they were short. They got ran over, and then they really got ran over. So I just want you to realize that when, you know, we go back and we look at the spiders, and I know me too, I'm thinking, hey, I want to get this meaty short here if it gets there fast, but just know that, you know, this is your area, and you could get a push. You could get a push higher to here, and maybe even to there. That would knock the teeth out of the shorts. So just know, you know, although we had a nice move from the red dog reversal low here, and that was a red dog reversal, and then on Friday you had your, you know, your switching of the gears, which happened when this day took out the prior day's high. It trapped all these shorts. Now we'll see how it stutter steps into there. I did buy this early, but you know, we'll see what happens. Sorry, CYBP was also my note. Oh, sorry, CYBP. Oh, my mind's a little fried at the end of the day. Wow, what a move. I wish it would have been here, because I would have been buying more size. It's hard to buy size when it comes from 550 back up to resistance. But, you know, I got back involved a little bit below 7, so it's a nice day so far. And if you're in it for my note, you're back here, or you were in it from last year and you had to take some pain. But it looks good. You know, it's going to need some kind of catalyst, but this weekly chart, you know, doesn't have many memories. This was the first move, and then it took 2 years. It's been consolidating. At some point, you're going to have to get sick, heavy volume to break above this, but it looks like at some point it will. It needs some kind of catalyst. That's a good stock from my, you know, for my note. GE was also a great from my note. Didn't come in this year along with it. I bought it on first day of the year, I think, which was right here, and I'm still in some. I sold some on the close, and so far nice gain. I guess there's a little bit more, could be a little bit higher, but you know, nice trade. This has been a really nice trade, and really just hold. Bought a lot here, bought a little dip, sold some, and I'm still in some, so we'll see how much further that goes. So there's been a lot of things to do. Hasn't been perfect. The last week was definitely choppy. When they look good, remember when we gapped down after the China numbers, I bought a lot of stuff, and then you had Apple pre-announced, and the next day we closed on lows to then open up, and then you had the jobs number and Powell. So, you know, if you got short on Thursday, you had to switch gears on Friday. Otherwise, you took some pain Friday and you took more pain today. And then maybe you gap up, you'll capitulate. You won't even be able to catch that trade into the retest or not. For me, you know, I've been trying to navigate it well and been doing okay. I should have been long Amazon and Netflix, not Facebook, but kind of still watching it. I hate being in the laggard, because now all of a sudden if we turn lower, that's probably, unless it bucks the trend and has some kind of news, you know, I'm waiting for this to do that. It's better off to get the ones that are leading. You know, again, we've had some laggers that are good, like GE, up 15% in 4 days, but I don't have massive size. I just have a whatever. So anyway, I guess, you know, you got to take it as it comes. And if you're thinking you have to be short because of what happened in the month of December, just don't jump out of your skin. Let the trade set up, and if it doesn't, you know, set up the right way, then just don't do it. You know, and if you missed a lot of the longs, don't start chasing things here with an oscillator plus 80, because chances are you might be right for a little bit, but it's an accident waiting to happen. You know, so we've had all these type of moves in the last 3 to 6 months, all different types of moves. And, you know, you have to, if you're missing some, you have to figure out why. You know, and if you're catching them, great. You know, you just keep doing what you're doing and just keep building on it. And maybe if you're, you know, when you're bench pressing and all of a sudden you're doing really well at 225, you know, for 10, you know, then maybe go up to 245 for 8 to 10, and then, you know, keep moving up, keep putting some plates on as long as your muscles can handle it, because, you know, you're staying at that spot for a while feeling good and you're making some progress. If all of a sudden you put a lot of weight on the bench and you can't hold it, all right, maybe you just put on too many shares and take some plates off and get back to where you're used to, and figure that out until you can go again. I don't know, I thought that was a decent analogy. Same, you know, as far as, you know, pressing yourself through limits instead of staying complacent. I'll see you in the morning. Have a good night. Bye-bye.